Hey friends, I'm Cammie.
I'm Leo.
What we're going to be doing here in this podcast is I will be introducing films to Liam and kind of gauging his reaction to them. The name of the show is From Mad Max to the Matrix, because the films that I will be introducing to him are classic films from the 80s and 90s, and we'll see what he thinks, how they aged, kind of get the perspective of a 13-year-old. What I'm planning on doing going forward in these episodes is try and take every year between 1979 and 1999 and distill it down to three movies, three kind of essential movies, if I can. So 1979, we watched three movies. There are a couple years that it's only going to be two, but there are some years later on that there are more than three. So those years will take up a couple of episodes. So as I said, my name's Cammie. In college, I was a creative writing and film studies major, so it's safe to say that I am really interested in movies and I'm fairly knowledgeable about them. I've been pretty obsessed with movies ever since I was a little kid. And so it's exciting for me to introduce films to somebody else who would probably really enjoy them. So, Liam, how old are you?
13.
How long have you been 13?
Less than a month.
Yeah, like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So since you're 13 now, that means that I can introduce you to R-rated movies. That's how the rating system works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So the movies that we're going to be watching have the three B's: blood, boobs, and swearing. Is that going to bother you in your 13-year-old sensibilities? I know you've never heard people swear before.
Never.
Now, you've had a bit of a head start on movies already.
Total Recall.
Yep, you saw the I think it was 2012 Total Recall remake. We had you watch Terminator and Terminator 2. But your mom also, ever since last summer, she really had a concentrated effort on getting you to watch a lot of the movies she loved. So like you watched Labyrinth, we watched Dark Crystal, Secret of Nim, although I think you watched that one with your grandparents. But did I say Labyrinth?
Yes.
Beetlejuice. So you've got a really good head start. As we get to all those movies, we can talk about those as well. Because I've got a big list of movies that we're going to go through. So as of right now, what's your favorite movie?
Probably the first Terminator movie, honestly.
The first one? Okay. What is it that you like so much about that movie?
It's futuristic, but we're also really close to it.
Because the future part is 2029 and it's 2022 right now?
Yeah.
That means that the nuclear war happened back in 1997. That's 12 years before you were born. I remember when we watched them back to back, you had said at the time that you liked Terminator 2 better, but in retrospect you liked the first one better?
Yeah.
So of all the movies you've seen, not just movies from the 80s and 90s, would you still say that's one of your favorite movies?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. You know what's really interesting? Two of my favorite movies are the first Mad Max movie, which we're going to be watching tomorrow, and the first Terminator movie. I discovered both of them when I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I've loved both of them ever since. So that's why your mom loves the Terminator movies as well. That's why we were really excited to show those to you. What do you think this experiment is going to be like?
What do you mean by that?
Do you think it's going to be... do you think you're going to see a lot of movies that are kind of like haven't aged well? Do you think you're going to find a bunch of movies that you really love?
I think I'm going to find a little bit of both, probably.
Okay. No, that totally makes sense. And what I'm looking forward to in this whole experiment, probably 25 weeks or so that we're going to be doing this, what I'm looking forward to is... Well, I love talking about movies, and I love analyzing movies. So I love being able to get to do that.
Me too.
But I also, I thought you would. That's why I wanted to do this. But I'm looking forward to watching these movies with you, for me, it's like watching these movies again for the first time. So, like when we watched Terminator, I love that movie. I can quote it word for word. But when you watched it, you didn't know any of the plot twists that were coming up. You didn't know any of that stuff. And your mom and I made sure not to spoil it. So we got to see your excitement. So for us, it was like watching it again for the first time. And I find that exciting. If you think back to the movies that your mom and I showed you, which she showed you a lot of the more fantasy stuff, because that was more what she was into. And you said Terminator was your favorite, but what are some of the other ones that you really liked? I remember you saying you liked Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the second Terminator movie was also really good.
Okay, totally. I love action movies, and I think the second Terminator movie is one of the best constructed action movies ever made. So, do you know what we're going to be watching tomorrow?
No.
We're going to be starting. I kind of want it to be a surprise, but I kind of also want to tell you and give you a bit of a tease. We're actually going to be starting in 1979 with Alien, the first one, Mad Max, the first one, and the Muppet movie. Are you excited to see any of those?
All of them.
All of them? I know we've talked about Alien a few times because of my little plush face hugger.
Yeah.
My little happy face hugger. All right, cool. Well, thanks for sitting down with me for a little while. This was kind of a short one because we didn't have a lot of particulars to talk about the movies, but
Yeah.
we definitely will when we sit down next time. So yeah, next time we're going to be watching Alien, Mad Max, and the Muppet movie, all from 1979. I think in the description, I'll go ahead and put a list of the movies that we're going to watch, as well as movies that I would consider classics that Liam and I are going to skip. And for 1979, the movie we're going to skip actually is Apocalypse Now, because I don't think he's quite ready for that one. It's a Vietnam War movie. It's pretty.
Okay, yeah.
It's pretty intense. It's about this guy who, during the Vietnam War, goes up a river to catch this general. And the further up the river he goes, the kind of crazier he gets. So that he just kind of goes insane over the course of the movie. It's kind of nuts. Anyway, so thanks for sitting down with me for a few minutes. I'm looking forward to see what you think of all this. And as far as the folks listening at home, thanks so much for sitting with us. And we'll see you next time on From Mad Max to the Matrix. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.